everybody, and welcome to Spilling the Soup, a Nintendo news podcast brought to you by Nintendo Soup. My name is Todd, and I'm the reviews editor.
Hey everyone, it's Liam. I'm a games reviewer for Nintendo Soup.
Oh, hey, hi, William, news editor or news reporter for Soup. Sorry, I'm trying to catch this Pokemon raid battle right now. But yeah, Shield's fun. That's it. That's all I have.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for joining us. I guess Liam and I will handle the rest of the episode then while you take care of that important Pokemon.
Oh, no, don't worry. I caught it. It was Gigantamax Butterfree. Okay. All right, good to go.
Okay.
What are we doing this week? Sorry.
So, well, thank you for joining us, as I said. This week we are, as always, starting with the... What's the name of the section?
This is just the intro, the simmer.
With the simmer. All right, so what have you all been playing this week? Or the last couple weeks, actually?
Well, as you probably can gather, I have been trying to get through Shield in the last 24-ish hours now. I went to the store to go grab it, and there was like someone getting a game in front of me, and another cashier on the side who was like, "Oh, how can I help you?" And I was like, "Hey, do you have Sword or Shield out?" And they're like, "Let me check in the back." And she leaves, and then I see the person in front of me is buying Shield. So I'm like, wait, why do you have to go to the back? So then the guy in front of me, I see that he's holding Shield, and the cashier sees that he's giving him the copy of Shield, and he's like, "Oh, is this the thing you wanted?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's what I came for." And he's like, "Oh, okay." And then he turns around, unlocks a cabinet behind him, and pulls out a copy of Shield and gives it to me. And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I don't know what that was about, but I got my game and I was set to go. So besides Pokemon, I know that I want to catch up on games that I was not going to be able to play once I started this one. So that's been mostly Fire Emblem because of the new DLC that came out. But we'll talk about that later in the hot plates section. So I'll save my thoughts on that.
As for me, I've been hopping back and forth between Tetris 99 and actually playing Death Stranding, which released on PS4. So I'm going to be busy with that game for a while. I'm still paying plenty of attention to Nintendo stuff in the meantime. Just taking a brief detour to play through Death Stranding, it's a lot of fun.
Nice. What have you liked about it so far?
It's definitely an interesting game with a lot of systems you don't see everywhere. Like in most games, you just point the stick in the direction you want to go and your character walks. But in Death Stranding, you actually have to watch your balance as you're walking, or else you'll tumble and fall down the hill. So you have to constantly be paying attention to your balance in that way. And there's all these stealth elements, just a lot of interlocking parts that work together in really interesting ways.
Nice, that's good to hear. I've seen some gameplay of that this week, but I don't know, it just seemed kind of hard to get into if you're not understanding the premise from the beginning, so if you kind of jump in the middle. But at the same time, it was really fascinating to see what was going on and not understand it.
Oh yeah, and I think it does a good job of slowly teaching you what you need to know. Although the user score for the game on Metacritic is pretty low, although not quite as low as the game you've been playing.
I was wondering about that.
You know what? I'm not sure. There's about 3,000 positive reviews and then 1,400 negative reviews.
Huh.
Yeah.
It's just a thing
it's
to
really
do,
interesting.
isn't it?
Yeah, a new big game comes out. It's controversial. You got to leave a negative review with 0 out of 10 because you don't have anything better to do.
But glad to hear that you're enjoying it at least, and potentially will turn the tides with that by saying, "Hey, I actually played the game, and this is what my experience was."
Yeah, it's really pretty good. What have you been playing, Liam?
Well, I've been playing Luigi's Mansion 3, which I'm actually reviewing for Nintendo Soup. I'm trying to get through as much of it as I can before I start writing the review. I'm currently on floor 10, which is the Egyptian floor, and my OCD is ensuring that I suck up all the sand before I move on to the next room. So that's taken up a lot of my time.
Wait, you wanna pick up all the sand in an Egypt level?
On the Egyptian floor, yeah, but it's each room's like filled with sand. So I'm just slowly going around each room and sucking up all the sand to make sure that I can find all the hidden gems and stuff on that floor. And I honestly cannot stand if there's like a little bit of sand left anywhere. I just really annoys me, so I have to go and clean it up.
Okay, that's good to hear that you're at least getting the gems or the jewels from the sand, because otherwise that sounds like it'd be a nightmare.
Yeah, I just finished the boss on Basement 2, and oh my God, I was going to throw my Switch out the window. I could not get him. I was getting so annoyed.
So how long has it taken you to get to your port in the game so far?
I think I played about 7 hours, and that's maybe me about the halfway point. I think I've saved two toads. I think I've got one more toad to save in the painting, and then I've got Mario and Peach to. Difficulty is a bit varied. Some levels it's ridiculously easy, and the other levels I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna kill someone. There was one where well, what was it? It was I had to like figure out how to get up to this, find this key to open a door, and I could not for the life of me figure out how to get there with Guiji. And eventually I had to Google it, and it literally was there was like a blanket covering a door, and all I had to do was
What?
Google it up.
Oh,
But
Oh
it
wow.
just I was playing it on handheld mode, and it's like the cover it wasn't moving. Like usually like a blanket or a curtain or something will move. This wasn't moving at all, so I just thought it was a wall, and I was like, "What the hell, Liam? Get yourself together, get a grip," because I should have noticed that. That was like 20 minutes. I was like, "There must be a glitch in this game," because I could not find what to do. So I was pretty annoyed at myself for not figuring that out because it was dead obvious once I noticed it.
Oh man, I gotta love those moments that send the most seasoned gamer searching for a walkthrough.
yeah.
And then
I
as
felt
soon
like
as you see it,
I felt
it
like such a
is a
dumbass.
facepalm.
See, like I've been having those moments with Trine 4, but then I look online and the solution isn't the right one, so I don't know what to do. I think it's definitely something I'm realizing with newer games that I'm picking up now is like sometimes we're spoiled with the internet, but other times like the internet isn't enough if it's a game that isn't extremely well known or has a lot of people playing it. But speaking of well known and having a lot of people play it, we did have Pokemon Sword and Shield released this week. So before we jump into the Hot Plate section, we're actually going to do a bit of a Q&A with Liam and Todd asking me some questions about the game since I've put in about 3 to 4 hours of it and have a lot to talk about it, but I need to be kind of calculated down into just some questions so that way I don't get too spoilery with it. And if people want to have an idea of my first impressions but haven't played it yet, this would be a good thing to listen to without getting spoiled. So, I think just to jump into it a little bit, I was pretty happy going in. It was just really pleasant to feel the world around me and going from just like the opening part of the game where you're in the house, going to like the other places nearby in my hometown was a bit of an adventure already because there was like it's very different from what you've had in past Pokemon games where you have like the kind of top-down-ish view. You can tell from the footage already that this has a very different approach to it in terms of tone, in terms of ways are set around you where you can't just immediately see everything. And I think that's what's been kind of driving me forward through a lot of the game is like you can sometimes see things out in the distance, but a lot of the things off to your right or left, you kind of have to go and investigate for yourself, which has been just really fun and I think something that Pokemon has needed for a while.
Oh, that's cool.
So what starter did you go with?
So I went with Sobble after a lot of
Oh,
debate. What? See, I did the 200 IQ move and went with Sobble because everyone's gonna go with Scorbunny. But if you guys want to get Sobble to complete the Pokédex in the future, I'm gonna have that Sobble there breeding up some babies for trading, and that way I'm gonna run the Sobble black market there, and I'll get my Scorbunny easily because
that works.
Scorbunny's gonna be a surplus, guys. We're gonna put that out of the way right now. But yeah, I went with Sobble to start off with. There's a really cute scene in the beginning where they come out of their Pokeballs and you get to see all of them interact instead of just kind of like awkwardly standing next to each other. And that part was really adorable to watch. Grookey was still a close second for me, but I think I just want to go with my trend that I've done with basically every new Pokemon game, which is to go with the water type starter. And
I would usually
immediately,
pick fire because there's not that many fire Pokemon in these games.
yeah, that was something I considered because, especially for the region Sinnoh, there was in the Chimchar line and Heatran and Magmortar, and that was it for new Pokemon that were fire types. You could still get like Ponyta on some routes, but fire was super scarce in that generation, as we've talked about on this podcast before. I I've only really seen Cramorant that I can remember as another water type in this region that is new. So I was like, all right, might as well just go with Sobble, and in the future I'll probably be able to trade if I want something else. I did manage to do a surprise trade, which is this generation's Wonder Trade, and I did not get anything new. I got one of the early Pokemon back to me that you can catch on the routes, but the thing that's been interesting is that this game actually allows you to use features like that without being connected to the internet. So if you're in a group of you're like next to a group of people, you can, from what I understand, you can surprise trade with people around you. So I guess if you have a lot of people and you want to try something fun, you can do that. But I don't see that being super useful.
Oh yeah. So I have a question for you. Did you make your choice of starter knowing what the final evolutions looked like?
No, I did not. I don't think I've actually seen any of the evolutions for the starters. I might have seen fake ones. I'm not completely sure for Sobble and Grookey, but I have no idea what their final evolutions are. The only reason I've seen Scorbunny's second evolution was because I watched a streamer who has that Pokemon and
Okay.
has managed to evolve it. I did not know at all what their final evolutions are, and I still don't.
Interesting.
Do you guys know what those are already?
Oh yeah, I think there were leaks a couple weeks ago. So I was able to look at the starter's final evolutions, and I'll just say that somewhat influenced my opinion.
Okay. See, I wanted to go in with the surprise of it and avoided checking out those leaks, even though they're all over the place. And I know that I've mentioned that I've been burned before with Oshawott, but I think that's going to be part of the fun here. And in these newer games, I have the ability to trade, get other starters, breed, and just make sure they don't evolve in the future. So I'm not super worried about not liking the final evolution as much as I am not being surprised of what they look like and enjoying that small moment in the game.
I don't know whether to Google it or not. I think last Pokemon game I played, I picked the fire one, and it turned into Blaziken. And
Ooh.
I think I was raging that it went from a cute little fox to a giant fox that looked like it was wearing flares.
Oh, Fennekin?
Yeah, is that what it's called? I can't remember. But it looked like a giant fox that was wearing flares, and I was like, okay, this is not.
I I actually like Delphox. It's just not very good in battle. But I kind of like the idea of it kind of turning into a magical, witch-like Pokemon.
Oh, I hated that. I was so annoyed that I don't know whether to look up the final evolutions for this one before I get my copy of the game because I don't want to end up with an ugly Pokemon.
Wow, superficial much, Liam?
Sorry, I tell it like it is.
I have had some Pokemon already where I caught them and boxed them immediately because, all right, I have your Pokédex entry. I would rather not look at you for the rest of the game. But who knows? They could evolve into something really cool. I know I'm pretty sure I've already caught some pre-evolutions to Pokemon that were revealed early on for the game, but I haven't confirmed yet that that's what they evolve into. Um, I I don't know if it's just my Yamper that I have that is the problem, but whenever I've used it in battle, it is not very strong. So that might be its move sets or its IVs or EVs, but I hopefully can teach it some better moves or figure out what's the best way to use my best boy in battle.
I gotcha.
Though, are you guys curious about the raid battles?
Yeah, I am curious. How do those work out?
So, those can actually be accessed within the first 2 hours of the game,
Oh
which
wow.
is basically what I've been stuck at now because I can't. I like that's been so much fun. I just want to stay there. But yeah, you can go into the wild area pretty early, and that's where you actually have the ability to go into the raid battles. You can invite other people, but if you have no friends who are online or accepting invites, then it will pair you up with CPUs. So you get some weirdly dressed characters joining you and filling up the other 3 slots for your raid battle. And then you obviously get the priority to Dynamax your Pokemon.
Yeah, I think the customization looks really good from what I've seen of it.
Yeah, I think there's like 2 shops that you can get to pretty early on. I've not explored the second one at all, but the first one had a lot of variety already, which is really fun. The music in there is also really cool, so if you might just spend some time in the boutique because of the soundtrack. And one of the things that was revealed in the early footage of the game that I kind of enjoyed and have seen different routes of how people have approached it is that if you catch a Pokemon within the first route, you'll get to a point in the game where someone is going to teach you. But if you have a Pokemon already that's been caught, they'll be like, "Oh, you already know how to catch Pokemon. Okay, here's some Pokeballs," and then they leave.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, it's a really nice touch that recognizes if
I guess Game Freak has finally realized that this is going to be some people's. It's not their first Pokemon game.
yes, definitely. And I think that has been the biggest uh praise that I could give it is that it really does do a good job of recognizing that people have been playing this game for the last 20 years and there's some things in there that you don't necessarily need to teach to everyone,
Yeah, exactly.
but if you do need it, it's there for you. Liam, did you have any other questions, or has your husband been kind of slowly creeping you with the knowledge of the game?
No, I've told him to tell me absolutely nothing about it, so I know nothing. And to be honest, I want to know nothing so that when I get it, I go in completely fresh and know nothing about it.
Nice. Yeah, that's good. Good to hear that you're going with that approach because I think that's how I'm trying to enjoy it the most. Even though there's a ton of people that I watch on Twitch who've been playing the game, I've been just like putting them to the side because I want to experience it firsthand for myself. I did pick up the Meowth, which is a bonus that you can get if you go online with the game up until like January 15th or something. And I added it to my party purely because it knows Fake Out and Payday, which are a nice little combo to do some damage and also get some extra, and also get some extra money in battles. I have not actually Gigantamaxed it, so I will actually be giving that a try after we record this. What else? How much do you guys know about the wild areas so far?
Almost nothing.
So with the wild area, is that just one big area, or are there multiple wild areas in the game?
I am still not sure because I'm at the what I'm assuming is the first of maybe multiple.
Okay,
This this might have been disclosed in another interview that they had with the developers, but I'm assuming you can go to different parts because um there's different terrains and ecosystems from what we've seen in trailers. The one I'm at right now has basically been just lake, trees, and grass. And the weather does change from what I've seen, and that affects what Pokemon are going to appear there. And uh, let me think. So, one of the things that I. So, you guys have both played Let's Go, is that right?
Yes,
let's go. I
Ju-
have not played that.
Oh, okay. Then Leah might know the answer to this. When you catch Pokemon in that game and you put them in and they go to the box if you already have six Pokemon, is that Pokemon completely healed? Oh, okay.
I don't even know if I caught 6 Pokemon in it.
Oh, jeez. Well, we'll have someone, or I'll investigate this next time. But in this game, since you can access your box similarly to Let's Go without going to the Pokemon Center, I wasn't sure if that meant the Pokemon would be healed and you could just add it to your party automatically. But you actually do not have it healed, in matter of fact. So I think once you go to the Pokemon Center and heal, it'll heal every Pokemon you have, which you should probably be doing because you'll be battling a lot in the wild area. And um, what I do like about this is that it actually gives you a reason to buy heal balls, which will heal up a Pokemon instantly, and you can just have it ready to join your party. So I'm really happy that it made those relevant.
Awesome.
Are there any other questions before we go into the hot plate section?
Not for me.
I don't think so. It's good to hear that you're enjoying the game so far.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely have this conflicting interest of staying in the wild area versus continuing the story.
You gotta
But
continue the story. You can come back later.
that's true. I just want to catch some of the cool Pokemon I've seen people catch because
Oh yeah.
there's a way of seeing what people have been getting recently. But I do need badges for for
For
said
higher
Pokemon
level
that are
Pokemon.
exactly, yeah, because otherwise I'm gonna have no control over what I catch. Yeah,
How many badges do you have so far?
0.
Oh wow.
So I have some progress to do.
You need to get on that.
I will. Don't worry about it. I think that's what's gonna push me to progress in the game, which is actually really cool to think about. Speaking of progressing, it is time for the news section, which is called the hot plates.
Hot Hot
All
Blades, let's
right.
go.
Yes, so our first article for today is actually wishing a happy birthday to Shigeru Miyamoto. So, today is a very special day for Nintendo fans since Shigeru Miyamoto is actually turning 67 on November 16th, 2019. Hopefully, he's enjoying a Pokemon game at home now that that has come out right before his birthday. Shigeru Miyamoto is a fellow at Nintendo and is recognized for his game work and development work on games such as Donkey Kong, Super Mario Bros., and Legend of Zelda. He first graduated from the Kanazawa Municipal College of Industrial Arts and was actually originally going to be a manga artist. But because of his father, who helped him out, he actually ended up working at Nintendo in 1977. So, way before we were born and way before they were making video games. He actually started making toys with them, but then realized that video games is the way the company was going and jumped on board with that. So at this point in time, Shigeru Miyamoto is no longer making games at Nintendo, but he's actually supervising and guiding the younger generation of developers at Nintendo and taking care of the Super Nintendo World project, which is, I believe, the theme park attraction that is being built as we speak. He's been recognized as a person who's made significant cultural contributions to Japan this year, and it's really hard to imagine a world without him, given all the franchises I mentioned above and how much work and passion he's put into the games here at Nintendo. So, from Nintendo Soup, happy birthday, Shigeru Miyamoto.
Happy birthday, Miyamoto-san. We
Shall
are
we
recording
sing?
this on November 16th, which is his birthday. You'll be listening to this a day or two later.
Yeah, so happy belated birthday, I guess is best. Liam, were you saying something?
Yeah, shall we sing?
Nah, we'll do that in post.
Yeah, okay.
We better
Okay.
not.
But yeah, that is just a quick announcement about that. And now for some more somber news, potentially. The official Mario Tennis Aces website has closed.
What?
Liam, some thoughts on this?
Interesting.
What is going on? Nintendo is cancelled. The website is not live. Nintendo is dead to me.
So, for some reasons unknown, Nintendo of America has closed the official site for Mario Tennis Aces. If you try to access the site at the moment, you will be redirected to its product listing instead, which gives some details about the game, but nothing as detailed as what was on the official site. And this game was actually just launched last year, so there's some confusion, and I think Liam has shown that he is upset with this news as well.
I take back my happy birthday for Miyamoto.
Oh, that is
But-
stone cold.
I mean, he didn't develop this game, so maybe he's not super involved with it, is the only kind of forgiveness I can give him at the moment.
I blame everyone at Nintendo. They're all responsible.
Everyone has something to pay with this game. But what do you guys think about this? Do you think this means that Mario Tennis Aces is just kind of being pushed to the side right now? Is this a glitch, since we've seen it in the past for some other games where it's been closed but then reopened?
I don't think it's that big of a deal, to be honest. I mean, what I do as a job is I'm a web developer by day. Wonder if maybe they've just looked at the traffic and maybe just seen that people are not accessing the website. Maybe more people are accessing the product page on the main site, and maybe they just thought that would make more sense. That's all I can think of, really.
So just the way people are kind of engaging with the game and getting the information, this is probably more useful.
Yeah, if people are just going to the product page rather than the official site, then there's no point in keeping it up. I mean, they have also stopped launching new characters. So I do think all the sort of free DLC and everything for that game is now done. So they're just putting it out to, not necessarily putting the game out to pasture, but the game's got all the DLC and everything that was planned. So there's no further new content, at least at the moment. So maybe there just was no need for that site to be there any longer.
Have you yourself checked out the website?
I didn't even know there was a website.
Oh, it's not a huge deal then.
No,
Yeah.
I just go to the main Nintendo website and just access everything there. To be honest, I don't really think a lot of their games need their own subdomain websites. Just put all the information on the product page on the main site and leave it at that.
Yeah, that seems pretty fair. I've definitely kind of been conflicted about seeing games that have their own website when there isn't a lot of content or news being put out that makes sense for them to have that. So, uh, I mean, like some games that have a lot of marketing, a lot of things that they can be announcing as they go on. Like Pokemon has basically had a website for every game that's come out in at least the last 10 years, from what I can tell. And some of them have been shut down after a long period of time. But if it's something like Mario Tennis Aces or like maybe Wii Sports, like things that don't necessarily have a lot of hype just going into them because they're not as well known as other franchises, that probably makes sense just to give people the information that they need to get the game to start off, and then everything else is probably available in other places. All right. Any other thoughts about this?
No, none for me.
No, not particularly. I mean, after all, we know that there's only 3 or 4 websites on the internet now. and they're all filled with screenshots of each other. There's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, and maybe Reddit. So I guess that's 5. Those are the 5 websites that are out there.
Basically, yeah. So speaking of content, we actually did have the release of Terry Bogard in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate just last week. So there was a live stream that was mostly just a recorded video, as was admitted by Sakurai himself, who hosted the video. And he actually did the official release and first look at Terry's full moveset, music, costumes, lore, everything that's related to him. And he was released on that day. So people could basically start playing Terry as soon as the live stream ended, which I downloaded as soon as I was able to. The character is part of Update 6.0, which hit the Switch on November 6th, very appropriate numbering, and people who do not have the Fighter's Pass can purchase Terry as DLC for $5.99 US cents, and this will actually include his stage and music. But if you have the Fighter's Pass already, he will be automatically added to the game once you connect to the internet and get that update. So, did you guys get the chance to see the announcements for this?
No, I didn't see it.
Yeah, the 45-minute live stream. I saw how long it was going to be and said I'll catch it later, but never got around to watching it. But yeah, we've got Challenger Pack 4 has been released. Fighter's Pass is almost complete, and it's going to be interesting to see what characters come next.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's the question now. It's like, Terry wasn't necessarily the most hyped, but he's pretty interesting still.
For sure.
We just haven't had a lot of characters like him in the game besides the DLC for Smash 4, which was Ryu and then Ken in Smash Ultimate. But he seems more fun to play than those two, actually, because he has a little more projectile and agility put into his kit. But if you guys have tried checking him out at all in Smash Bros, you'll know he can be pretty complicated for people who have never played a fighting game outside of Smash, because he has some inputs that are very specific, and
oh yeah,
because you need to learn those if you want to try out some of his more unique moves. And I have not had the chance to look those up or practice those, so I go into these pretty bare bones. But I think that's really cool to see some variety, and also gives people an idea of what some other fighting games are about and the way that they play, besides just Smash Bros. If that's the only thing that they've checked out.
Yeah, I saw some memes making fun of Smash Brothers players for not being able to do a quarter circle.
That's me.
No, it like showed a picture of a doorknob. It's like Smash players can't open this door because they have to turn the doorknob a quarter circle.
I mean, yeah, that's that's I'm not denying that. Though, just to comment on some other stuff that came with the bundle, we did have the stage, which has a unique new feature in it, where there's invisible walls on the side that can break if the person that hits it has taken enough damage, and then they'll get KO'd.
Interesting.
It's very different from past games, but it kind of emulates how other fighting games kind of calculate their wins and losses. So I've been trying it out, and it's actually been a kind of fun way to mix up the gameplay a bit. He did have a tourney that was an HP. That was like an HP gauge tourney instead of the regular percentage, and that was pretty fun to check out as well. Which I think is just showing that Smash Bros is adapting a bit and giving players some new ways to approach the game itself. As for the music, he had 50 tracks from basically almost all the games that he's been in, which is insane.
Yeah, and I think that the Fatal Fury series is really important to Sakurai himself, so it feels like this was probably his pick for the character.
Yeah, definitely. And I think he really wanted to try out if he could program in the inputs that not all Smash Brothers players can do. But yeah, have either of you had the chance to try out Terry Bogard in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate?
I played with him just a little bit.
Resounding no from Liam. Okay.
No.
Just a little bit, not
No.
not enough to get a good feel for the character. Like I said, I've been busy with other games and other crazy things going on. But yeah, it's always good to have another character in Smash Brothers, and I'm really looking forward to seeing who Fighter Pack 5 is going to be.
Do either of you have predictions for what the last fighter will be for this Challenger Pack?
Oh, I guess we haven't discussed the leak, have we?
Oh god, no! Is there a leak? Okay.
So
Tell me. I want to know.
okay. So there was a like not just a still photo, an actual video, and it didn't show the fighter, but it showed a Mii costume that heavily hints at a certain fighter. So it showed a Mii fighter with a demon head, one of the iconic demons from Doom that I can't remember the name of, but basically a Mii fighter with a Doom themed costume on, and so people are thinking that heavily implies that either Doom Guy or Doom Slayer, whatever you want to call him, is going to be the next DLC character.
Interesting. I thought maybe someone from Overwatch was going to it.
Yeah, I think that was rumored, but I think that was Fighter Pack 4. That it was going to be rumored to be like Tracer from Overwatch, but it ended up being Terry. So at this point, I don't know if we'll see any kind of Overwatch characters in Smash.
Yeah, I feel like for the most part, besides like Joker, everything that's been included in, well, even Joker, you could kind of make an argument for. All these characters have been from series that have been around at least 10 to 20 years. Because with Joker, he's Persona 5, but the Persona series started all the way back in like the 90s, and even that has its roots with Shin Megami Tensei, which was even older than that. Banjo-Kazooie as well. Who was third? Shoot. Oh, Dragon Quest, duh, that's like one of the oldest. We just got the 11th game, so that gives you an idea of how old that is. And now Terry, which is part of Fatal Fury, part of some fighting games that have been iconic and really I think, cemented in places like Latin America, which is where where he's probably more well known. Um, so that's why I'm more accepting of Doom than, say, Master Chief from Halo, just because I think it still has that kind of legacy and importance to the gaming community and history that I think is what Sakurai is trying to aim for with Smash Bros.
Hold on, hold on. So are you saying that Master Chief and Halo do not have legacy and importance to gaming history?
I mean, like, compared, like, I'm saying, have we had Halo in like 16-bit games, because Doom has basically been there. So yeah, not to like separate it too much, but just in terms of like how far it's come, uh, like the games have had a ton of changes to it, and not.
That's all fair, but I'm just saying, like, I've never played a Halo game, but I feel like it's one of the most influential series of all time. So
Mm.
don't be crap talking Halo.
But it's not on Switch, so.
True, that's true.
And it's also not Japanese.
Oh, and then part of the same leak, though, um, there was another Mii fighter who had a costume of Mallow, the character from Super Mario RPG. So that has a lot of people thinking as well that Geno from Super Mario RPG is finally going to be in Smash. I feel like that's one of the last highly requested characters that's not just a meme that has not been put in the game yet.
Honestly, the only reason I think Gino might not be in this is because everyone in this pack has been third party. So I could see them wanting to keep that pattern going and just say, like, okay, this is everyone who is like the crazy no one thought would come to Smash eventually because they're from a different publisher. But since we are getting the like more characters in the future besides these, I think Geno might be a better fit for that roster. But who knows? I could be totally wrong. And they're just like, here we go, first party person, just to tie the knot with this one. Have either of you guys actually played Mario RPG?
No.
No, I
It's
haven't played it either.
it's one of those games again that I would definitely pick up if there was a remake of it and that had some of like new mechanics in it and just like general modernization to it. But I've seen like a playthrough of it and it just looks really fun, and something that I know people would really love to enjoy if there was like a sequel to it, because they never did one for some reason. But that'd be awesome. All right.
Now, it's possible that that Me Hat leak could end up going the way of the Grinch leak pre-release that included all kinds of characters.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see about that. And moving on from Smash Bros, we have some Fire Emblem DLC. Fire Emblem Three Houses has Wave 3 now released in the game, and the latest DLC actually adds another same-sex romance option for male Byleth. So earlier this year, when Fire Emblem Three Houses first launched, there were very few homosexual relationships that were available to the male characters. One of them being Linhardt, which was one of the students. Another one being Alois, which was very strange because in the end he ends up just putting you in contact with a female villager, and you marry this random person you've never met. And I don't even know what Gilbert's ending is, but it's also very much like a haha, fooled you moment, and you do not get to end up with that character, unfortunately. But it looks like Nintendo and Intelligent Systems have taken this DLC as an opportunity to fill that gap. So Wave 3 for the DLC actually lets you, one, add a new character to your party if you are in a specific route, and will also let you S rank that character. So just spoiler alert for like the next 3 seconds as we say the name of this character, and then we'll be right back. So, the DLC character is Jiritsa, one of the teachers at the monastery, and they can only be recruited on the Crimson Flower route. So, spoilers over, but if you want to get that character and marry them, you can only do it on that route. So, that might take you a while, but also, if you really want to, that's how you do it. And I think he might be the best option for male Byleth if you want to go same-sex relationship. Neither of you guys have played the game, right?
No, I have not. But it's always
Okay.
good to have more options out there.
Yeah, so this is really cool because, as I mentioned before, the other S ranks with male characters were pretty disappointing, because you have one character that I at least was not interested in, so I did not see the point in trying it with them. But yeah, yes, that would be Linhart from the Black Eagles house, and we also have the new character Anna joining, which was something we talked about in the other announcement for the DLC. Other than that, we have the sauna now available for players to use. And if you use the sauna with a character and get them to a point where your character or the character who joins you hits the refreshed threshold, they will gain more points for all the activities that they do. So if you're trying to increase their stats quickly, you can go ahead and do that, and they will get a boost. But yeah, I'm happy they took the opportunity to do this, though it will take me at least, I think, like 20 hours to get to that point in the game again, because I saved over that. Yeah, I saved over that point in my game, so I have to go back and do that, which is gonna take a while and probably won't happen until I want to take a break from Pokemon.
Yeah, for sure.
Um,
I just
we
wish that they'd go ahead and make every dateable character basically dateable or marriageable regardless of the player's gender, essentially making every character bisexual. Now, I don't see what they have to lose in making that happen. I feel like it would give everybody equal opportunities and, just a lot more player choice in how they want to play the game.
Yeah, because I think as male Byleth, you can basically S rank or like choose to marry any of the females, and vice versa with female Byleth, as far as I understand it. And the counter argument I've heard to that, where they should just make everyone marriageable, is like, well, that wouldn't be realistic that everyone's bi. But this is a
No, that's
game.
it's a video game about magic and stuff.
Right? It's like,
I remember playing Fire Emblem Awakening, I think, and dating a girl who could turn into a giant rabbit beast. So I'm pretty sure realism isn't what they're going for. And like, look, it doesn't even their sexuality doesn't matter unless it's the character that you want to date, if that makes any sense at all. So it's like, what's the word? Schrodinger's sexuality. They could be straight, gay, or bi depending on who you pair them up with.
yeah, exactly. I think it's a good way of putting it. It's like, it doesn't affect anything until you actually choose that you want to pursue that person.
Yeah, and I know
Um,
there's a very popular fan mod for Awakening, and I think probably uh, the other 3DS games as well. Uh, that basically adds that option, adds S rank romantic supports for every character.
oh, cool. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, you have to hack your 3DS to do that, and do that at your own risk. But it's a pretty great little mod.
I'm sure that information's out there. People want to go and do that, but I mean, Awakening's 6 years old now at this point, so I feel like you might be more inclined to just try it. Yeah, you might be more inclined to just try it in Three Houses, but that's good to know. I'm glad someone tried to do that in one of the older games. I've only played. What have I played? Well, I've only played Echoes before this one, and in that one, it was very much like you just go through and build supports, and by the end, there's already canonical endings to all the characters if they don't die. And some of them are affected if other characters die, but you really couldn't choose who marries someone, from at least as far as I could tell. And that was kind of nice because for that game, it's a remake. They already have their ideas of what they want to do with these characters, given that we had stories for them in the past. But I think with this one, if we had more choices of choosing who paired up with each other, especially for characters other than your own, which you really don't have much control over, especially if you have like one guy who has reached A rank with two different girls, I'm not even sure what the game decides. Is it the most recent one? Is it the person that they got A rank with first that they end up getting married with? Because it's just unclear. But yeah, what do you guys think about the addition of this male S rank support?
Seems pretty cool if you bought all the DLC.
I think they keep going back and forth on what's free and what's paid, and sometimes I'm confused about it. I think this part might actually be free as far as I can tell. But yeah, the parts that I do know for sure are paid are the outfits, which we got a lot of in this DLC. And this lets you dress up people as butlers, maids, and summer outfits, and just kind of, yeah, they had to do it, and yeah, it's kind of nice to just mix up what people look like, because sometimes you get bored of just seeing their outfits as the same thing over and over as you play this game forever and ever, because apparently it's never going to end. Though I am surprised that they have put out this DLC already, because I think originally it was supposed to come out by the end of the year, and this is earlier than that. And the final piece of DLC isn't supposed to come out until April, so I'm not sure if this means everything is going to get pushed forward, or if they have some plan to like still keep it going up until April, so that people don't just end the game within the first few months. So we'll keep you updated on that. I'm personally really excited to see this game get DLC, and some of it free, some of it be paid for things like cosmetics, which I'm fine with. I think the biggest piece is the characters, which might be why we're getting this stuff early, which could potentially mean that the characters are taking a little longer than they expected, or maybe even a little sooner than they expected to complete. So moving on from Fire Emblem and talking about things that were expected to be completed, we got the new trailer for Sonic. But we're going to go ahead and take a quick break, and we'll get right back to that. All right, we are back from our break and tackling the final piece of news for this week, which is the new Sonic trailer that dropped. And oh my god, okay. What are your first impressions about this new trailer for the Sonic movie?
It could not be more night and day between the old design and the new one. You look at them next to each other, and it blows your mind that the original was ever approved in the first place. Like, holy crap. We're looking at the article right here, which is on Nintendo Soup. Let's compare the old and new Sonic designs. On the left, we've got this horrible looking creature with realistic teeth, like human teeth, a dog nose, these weird shaped eyes, this matted, messy looking fur, the horrible coloring. It, it's a it's a cherry pick worst shot from that original trailer, but it really highlights how horrible that original design is. And then on the right, you have the new Sonic, and it actually looks like Sonic. He doesn't have one giant eyeball like he does in the games. Like his eyes aren't connected.
Yeah.
I might actually like this design more than game Sonic. It looks really good. It's got the classic colors you expect from Sonic. It doesn't have realistic human teeth. It's just an improvement in every possible way.
It's just the teeth, to be honest. They were so freaky. It was like Sonic with veneers.
The freaky human teeth are just one. They're just the ingredient that makes the original design just perfectly terrible.
The film
It
still looks
just-
terrible, though.
I mean, it looks okay. I'm not. It's not going to be a masterpiece.
I think the eyes and just the proportions were really the things that threw me off from the first trailer. But like the first one, like the best way I can think of describing it is someone tried to combine the DNA of Sonic and a human, and that's what they got as a result. But like,
An unholy nightmare.
But
aside
from just like the Sonic design, the aesthetic and tone of the movie feels completely different as well.
Yeah, and I think that's just down to making a better trailer.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably still the same movie underneath all the changes, but the trailer felt a lot more fun. It had some better jokes. Maybe those will end up being the best jokes in the movie. But with the first trailer, I'm like, okay, this is going to be so bad it's good. This one might be so mediocre it's all right. But so I've seen people saying, oh, I hope they include the original design as a DVD bonus feature where you can watch the whole movie with
oh my god.
old Sonic. But I don't know if that'll happen.
Yeah, I doubt that. I doubt this movie is gonna be on DVD. Also, I don't know if they do. I mean, they probably do that
Still-
Oh, they still make DVDs and Blu-rays.
Yeah, I don't know why. I guess, but I don't even have anything that could play a DVD at this point. But yeah, this movie I think has a whole different appeal to it now because it kind of takes away the biggest distraction, which was what is this thing I'm looking at that is saying it's Sonic.
Whereas previously, the design was just so bad. But now I'm thinking it's going to be an all right. It's going to be a decent movie. Like maybe on the same level as Detective Pikachu, maybe a little lower.
It's not going to be as good as Detective Pikachu. I mean, it's not going to have Mewtwo killing Rita Ora. Therefore, it's not going to be as good.
You know, that's completely fair.
I wonder if we're even going to actually get some of the cast from Sonic games at this point. Because we've seen nothing of Tails, Amy, Knuckles.
Oh, that's a good point.
Do you think they're going to make an appearance in this movie at all?
No, I really hope so. Now that you mention it, it's really strange that it's just Sonic when, like, ever since the second game, the appeal has really been Sonic and all his friends. Like, even the first game, I don't know. When did they add Tails? Sonic 2?
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
Sonic too.
I don't know. I mean, I don't even like the fact that Dr. Robotnik is Jim Carrey. I mean, it gives me vibes of the Mario movie, which let's just not.
I've not seen that actually. Is he in that?
Yeah, Jim Carrey, he's Dr. Robotnik. Haven't you watched the trailers?
No, I mean for Mario.
Oh, the old Mario movie. I have not seen that. No.
What? What?
Your age is showing, Liam.
How can you have not seen it as a classic? Because it is such a goddamn mess.
I just
You've
have no
got
interest at all.
you've got I think is it Bob Hoskins? Yeah, Bob Hoskins playing Mario. I think it's Bob Hoskins, and then you've got just like this terrible reptile as Yoshi that can't speak, and then you've got Bowser, but he's human.
I think the Goombas are my favorite.
Oh yeah, it was a car crash, but that's what makes it so iconic.
Oh yeah.
Once we finish recording, go and watch it immediately.
I'm gonna take a hard no on that.
Well, is it on Netflix?
I think
it's on Disney Plus.
I think Nintendo have actually probably tried to burn every VHS and DVD and digital version of this film to try and erase it from people's memories.
See, what they should do is make this the content that we all want from our Nintendo Switch Online accounts and add this on there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember when they had the video streaming service on 3DS and they had like episodes of the Kirby Right Back at Ya anime.
Yes. And Pokemon on the Game Boy.
Yeah. They just need to have the a streaming service for, the old horrible Nintendo movies and cartoons.
Yeah, we're getting all the retro.
Don't diss the Super Mario cartoon. That was quite good.
Don't tell them that, because they'll want to charge us for that if we tell them it was good.
Yeah. Man, I've just seen that cartoon memed so much, but I've never seen a full episode all the way through.
But going back to the Sonic article, we actually have some follow-up information, which Liam has told me a little bit about, and I think... Was it Liam? I think Liam told me about Sonic Mania.
It was not me.
Okay, it was someone else I had a conversation with right before this podcast started, so let's forget that. But there were rumors apparently that the director of Sonic Mania animated shorts, Tyson Hesse, was actually involved in improving Sonic for the new trailer that just came out. And it looks like there has been some confirmation on this, given that there were 2 tweets about it from him. Tyson tweeted on November 12th, "Honored to have been brought in to lead the design on the new movie Sonic, working with Jeff and the modelers, riggers, texture/fur artists, and animators in LA, London, and Vancouver was a thrill I'll never forget. Hashtag Sonic Movie." And then also that same day he tweeted, "It's very comforting that people are happy about Sonic." So this is actually not only the artist behind the Sonic Mania shorts that were released before the game came out, but also the Sonic comics, which we have some pictures of on screen probably for you right now, showing off the covers of the art, which just look amazing.
Yeah, I think he's just a cover artist, just to clarify that.
Oh, okay.
I don't think he's actually one of the writers or artists for the Archie comic, but he has contributed cover art, as you can see here. And it's just a really nice take on the character. Now, one thing you might not know about Tyson Hesse is that, probably a decade ago, just years ago, he had created a parody comic about Sonic characters, and it just took things in really weird and unexpected directions.
Oh, interesting. Did he?
So he went from that to designing Sonic for an official movie. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think that shows how the modern age with internet access and like popularity of art and content that people create can really influence some things that are more mainstream nowadays. But yeah, otherwise I'm glad to see how far he's gotten with this, and it's nice to see that the comics are getting some attention because of this, potentially. I know that there's a huge legal thing with the Sonic comics as well, because of people who own the different rights to the characters. They had to do some event within the comics that made like the universes like separate and collapse and stuff like that because they technically couldn't be owned anymore in the way that they were being written. So that's a whole other story that people who've read the Sonic comics might be more familiar with than me. But those were definitely some comics I'd love to check out because they probably have a lot of the story and world building that I can appreciate from the games.
Wow, I don't know anything about that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I know Sally. I know Sally Acorn is a character. Other than that, I don't know much about the Sonic comic.
Who?
Sally Acorn?
Oh, God. You know more than me, maybe, then.
I just know that the furries love her. That's all I'll say about that.
Oh, jeez. All right. So, moving on to sales and deals.
Okay, we'll move on.
Since this podcast has been going on for a while, we're just going to move on to this last section of the podcast where we go over the eShop sales that are going on this week. Okay, so we're going to touch on some North American sales and some EU sales, given that Liam's on the podcast and has access to that. So, Liam, do you want to start us off there with telling us some sales that you'd like to check out on the eShop this week?
Sure. The game that I would recommend to the listeners is Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle. It's down to £11.09, which is 63% off. That is a lot cheaper than what I paid for it on launch day. So definitely make sure to check that out. It's a really fun game if you're into the sort of role-playing strategy games. And there's nothing better than seeing a rabbit dressed up as Princess Peach. So check it out.
Does that include the DLC?
No, just the game, just the original game. DLC is separate.
Okay.
Is there a discount on the DLC as well, or is this a sale only applying to the core game?
It only applies to the core game. I do not see. Oh no, there is as well. The season pass is 40% off, so that is $9.59. If you then want the Donkey Kong Adventure DLC, that is £7.19, which is 40% off as well. So I might check those out because I don't have them.
Awesome. I have definitely seen a lot of time put into the Donkey Kong DLC. So if people are looking to add more to that game, I think that's a good way to do it. And it sounds like you can get all of it for less than the original price of the base game.
Yep. Rub it in. I paid full price.
About that game is that it is published by Ubisoft and not Nintendo. So I think that's why you see it on sale so often. Because with Nintendo games, they practically never go on sale. So
No, never.
Very true. So I'll go next. I have The Messenger on sale, which is a game from Devolver Digital, normally going for about $20, now going for $11.99 in the North American eShop. And it's such a fun platformer that can kick your ass at some points, but it's really just motivates you to learn and get better and get through the game itself. One of the main appeals of it is that there's a time travel element where you can go between past and future versions of different levels and discover the lore of this world, which is always super fun to do. And it's about half off, so I would recommend picking it up. It also had some free DLC launch this past summer, so you can go and do some more grinding off to the side there and explore a completely new area. I picked it up just a few months ago. I have loved it and definitely has some replay value.
Cool. So I guess I have a couple I want to mention. Overcooked and Overcooked 2 are both on sale for pretty good discount. Overcooked 2 is obviously the second one, has some changes and improvements, but both of these are fantastic co-op games. The word for them is frantic. They're also a lot of fun. My mom's not a gamer, but I taught her how to play this game, and she picked it up really quick and was able to, start tossing around potatoes and chopping meat and and serving up plates within no time. So it's a very fun, frantic co-op game. If you haven't played it, check it out. It's on sale.
Nice. That's I have seen some people play Overcooked. Frantic seems like the best word for this game.
I played it with my mum, and she did not like it because it was too frantic,
Oh.
and because I kept shouting her, "Stop burning the tomatoes."
Well, it's not for everyone. It is pretty easy to pick up, but might be a little too crazy for some people.
Oh, that's hilarious. I should start playing some more games with my parents and see what they end up liking or not liking.
Yes, start with something simple is my advice.
Yeah.
But all right, are there any last thoughts on anything that we've talked about this week before we jump into our question of the week?
Oh, I do have one other game on sale. Let me get it right here.
Sure.
I've already purchased the game, so it doesn't tell me how deep the discount is. But Mech Extermination Force is on sale, and that's like a Mega Man style game, but it's more of a boss rush. It has co-op, I think. It's from the creator of Gunman Clive 1 and 2, which are also on sale. So if you like jumping, shooting, creative enemies and bosses, pick up Gunman Clive HD Collection and Mech Extermination Force as well. They're on sale.
Cool. Yeah, I just pulled it up. Mech Extermination Force is normally $11.99, and the sale has it for $10.19.
So about $1 off. It's not bad.
Yeah, it's not a super high price anyway, so the sale is just a slightly more incentivized way for people who want to check it out. Gunman Clive also is apparently on sale on the 3DS, so if you want to get all the games there, you can check it out.
Yeah, I'll dust that off.
We talked about this with Liam last week, that I've been playing some 3DS, but now at this point with Pokemon on the Switch, I don't think I'll be picking that up for a while. So, speaking of Pokemon,
I have a ton of 3DS games I need to finish, but I keep getting new games anyway, so it's the curse of the gigantic backlog.
Yes, that is where I'm at right now. I have completed one world in Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance, so I am super behind on that, but I do not understand how to grind in that game without dying, so I think that's my biggest hurdle. So just to wrap things up, our question of the week for all of you down below is, what are your first impressions on Sword and Shield? So if you've checked out the game already and gone around to the wild area or even further where I am in the game, feel free to let us know in the comments down below, and we'll get back to that in our discussion for next week. So
please do let us know if you're listening. We love to see comments on the podcast.
Yeah. And other than that, that has been it for episode 8 of Spilling the Soup this week. And we will see you next week. As always, my name is William.
I'm Todd.
I'm Liam.
And thanks for spilling the soup with us. We'll see you then.